great new friends. But it is with this, about this festival, that I'm now going to invite someone who probably we all know. I don't want to say probably. I don't know why. I'm just a little bit nervous. Forgive me. Someone who we really love, a well-known author, Evelyn Lau. Please, Evelyn.
Thank you, David. Those of us who were there at the opening know what an amazing host David is. He just needs to kind of loosen up and be the shit disturber that he's promised that he would be. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming out tonight and for supporting the festival. It's been an intense weekend, I'm sure, for all the writers here. I've been to a number of literary festivals around the world, and I know how quickly friendships are formed and creative collaborations that continue long after the festivals end. So it has a kind of ripple effect. This little pebble will create, who knows what poems and stories will come out of this. And of course, we have to thank everyone who has worked so hard, especially Jim Wong Chu. I was reconnecting with him and his wife, Marlene. And I just wanted to say again, for those of you who haven't heard this story many times, that they took me in for dinners and conversations when I was a wayward teenager who desperately wanted to become a writer and wasn't being taken seriously. And Jim, took me seriously. And he has devoted most of his life to committing himself to creating a younger generation of Asian Canadian writers, many of us who come from a background where that is not at all encouraged. I gather this is the first of hopefully many literASIANs, and Jim is a bit of a glutton for punishment, so he's going to put himself through this again next year, I think. But we all owe him a debt of gratitude. He asked me, thank you, Jim. He asked me to read a poem, and the poem I chose is in honor of someone whose son is here tonight. Kagan, would you stand up? Yes, Kagan Goh. Those of you who've been in the literary community for a long time know and loved his father, Goh Poh Sang, who was an extraordinary man, and a doctor, a poet. I was thrilled to see in the latest issue of Ricepaper a memoir that he had written, and it just reinforced again to me, what we've lost. And he had just an incredible talent. So this poem is in his memory. It's called Willow. We've lived a long time in one place. Even the poets are growing old. Tonight, a student stood at the microphone, reading Piling Blood, as lovingly as if it were his own, and I remembered Al Purdy's last readings packed to the rafters. He could hardly take a sip of breath in those crowded rooms, every event sold out, in the possibility it would be his last. I remembered his letters, the way the period key on his typewriter punched through the page, so that if you held it up to the light, his words would form a firmament, scattered with stars. Goh Poh Sang, you and I are still here, stubborn as cactus on sere ground. Tonight, your son wheeled you into the library where 2 years ago you came leaning on his arm. Your face starved to the beauty of a monk's. I reached to embrace you, but was afraid you'd dissolve in my arms, scatter in a swirl of gold dust. I held your hand instead, a dry leaf in mine. When I asked if you were well, you nodded, well enough, as if a grain of rice were sufficient, no need for life's greedy buffet. Around you, the storm of Parkinson's raged on, so that you swayed violently like a willow, and I was afraid to let go, hanging on to your hand like a lifeline, your slight body the clapper inside a ringing bell. I am fortunate, you said, your voice already the rush of the wind through the trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn is Vancouver's Poet Laureate. Thank you.